Be here with you.
Good to be here with you too, bud. Nice to finally meet you after, I don't know, we've been friends on Facebook for a while, but this is the only way we can meet right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a real honor to meet you, and I appreciate some of the great interviews that you've done, and it's an honor to be here to do one with you.
Thank you, my friend. It's an honor to have you on. It's always nice to speak to a musician that's you've been around. Like, you know, I might have only heard of your band like a couple of years, but looking at your discography, you've been around, and you had your former band was Unchained. That's where you got your contact with Paul Stanley. We can get into that if you like. Don't know
Sure.
if you're sick. I don't know if you're sick to death of talking about that.
No, it's actually a very exciting lineage for me, and really is the basis of the torch of rock and roll. That's the essence was that first contact with Kiss, and then of course, and then working directly with Paul. It's the essence of the torch of rock and roll.
I hear out of the two frontmen, he's the more humble one. He's more down to earth than Gene.
You'd be surprised, actually, that they're both very down to earth.
Okay. I've not met either one, but I mean, who can? I saw them in 2011 when they were in Abbotsford, and man, they just blew the house off. No, they blew the roof off, rather, not the house. A hell of a show. They still got it. They're still solid performers.
Well, this last show here in Vancouver in 2019, which was the first one of the first show of the End of the Road tour, was absolutely epic. I actually had the pleasure of building the show. That was what was really cool about it, is I got to build the show, and then
you helped build the deck, you mean, or
what? That's what I do. I do production at Rogers Arena, and so was able to do that, and then that night take my daughter to the show. And the cool thing that happened was that we went early because I wanted her to really. It was her first big concert, right? I mean, wow, what 9-year-old gets to see Kiss as the very first concert? But we came in, and right away when we came in, because we're both, I'm dressed like Jean. I got Jean makeup on, and she's got Paul makeup on, and right away they've got a documentary crew. And that documentary crew jumped right onto us. And I did honestly, maybe about a half-hour interview and told my whole story, with Paul and all that stuff. And then we went down, checked out our seats, and they actually came down with the camera crew and got us in the seats. They got us during the show. So I would be highly surprised if we weren't in the final documentary of this End of the Road tour. This documentary when it's ready to go.
Yeah, maybe be on a bonus disc or something.
You never know. You never know.
That's the beauty of life, right? You never know what's coming next.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, your new album, Torch of Rock and Roll, it has that right in the song. And it's funny because in your song you talk about grunge coming in and how it kind of pushed rock and roll to the side. Erin and I actually talked about that today, and she was mentioning that too. But I saw an interview with her before, and she mentioned that she got the Sons of Freedom. She got some of the guys from the Sons of Freedom to record with her because she really liked their sound.
Yes.
She instead of getting scared of it, she kind of embraced it and said, "Hey, I really like their sound. I'm going to get some of these guys in to record with me," and I think that's kind of cool.
I think it's fantastic. And I'll be honest with you, Anthony. It didn't scare me when grunge came in. Was I disappointed that it sort of ended our 4-year run that we had with Paul Stanley Entertainment and Polygram Records? Yeah, it was definitely a disappointment. But the beautiful thing that came out of it was that I really stepped into the role of being a songwriter and of being a frontman. Because, you know, I don't know if you know the story that well, but we had a lead singer at the time, and it was Unchained was very much in a Van Halen tribute band that had turned into an original band that was, you know, sort of, you know, really embraced that classic Van Halen as opposed to Van Hagar.
Right.
And
That's
that
what
was,
I call them too. Van
yeah,
Hagar. I don't call him Van Halen when Sammy, because Sammy's great on his own, but
yeah.
together I just didn't feel the blend.
Well, it just the same. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was that magic that was there with the classic Van Halen was missing.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of when we worked with Paul was let's keep that going. That thing that was there, let's keep that going. And so that's really like when I think back to recording in LA with Paul, it was really all about trying to get that magic, that essence of classic Van Halen in these recordings, right? So,
Right.
but what I'm saying is that it didn't scare me that grunge was there. Was I disappointed that it ended our sort of our relationship with Paul? Yes. However, on the other side of things, it really, really inspired me to become a real songwriter and to become a real frontman, because we were looking for the next David Lee Roth. Like this 4 years, like, because we went to LA
Right.
and we recorded, and our singer that we had at the time, he lost his nerve in the studio. Like it was, if you watch the video, you'll see I haven't pointed out anybody, but you know, there was this thing where it was just like, okay, you guys need a new singer. And then we came back to Vancouver and we looked, I mean, we brought in David Lee Roth impersonators. We brought in lots of David Lee Roth guys, but none of them were the right guy. And in that process, I became this frontman. I
Right.
really embodied that and then really embodied my songwriting. So I'm actually quite grateful. I think the story would be a lot different if that album had been put out. Who knows? We could have put out this great Van Halen-esque classic record and it would have just gone, grunge would have come and it would have all been over anyway. But we could be in a completely different situation. But as it worked out, it actually was a really great thing for me.
Yeah. Well, for you and the other guys that are in the band.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the band kind of broke up after that.
No, but I mean the mighty one.
Oh, the Mighty One. Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Did that take you some getting used to being the front man, or was it something you were comfortable stepping into?
I think I've kind of always been that, but embodying it and becoming empowered with it was something, they were shoes that I had to grow into. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's just not something that comes overnight, I'm sure.
No, exactly.
So, you had built a studio way back in the day, and Mr. Devin Townsend actually recorded some of his stuff there.
It's actually I had two studios. The first studio that I had was in North Vancouver, and I converted the garage into a studio, and that's where Devin recorded some of the first Strapping Young Lad albums. This was even
Oh, wow.
Townsend band. He was recording Strapping Young Lad, and the keyboard player that I had at the time was actually Devin's keyboard player, or became Devin's keyboard player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the time when I first met Devin, and that would have been 95, 94, 95, you know, Devin was a short-haired guy with glasses, very nerdy, you know, and he was playing this ridiculously heavy music. Strapping is brutally heavy music.
It is.
And so
it's great.
that was kind of interesting. So that was my first introduction to him. And then when I moved here to Coquitlam, I did the same thing with my garage here. And then I had a roommate and he was the drummer in the Devin Townsend band.
Oh
And
wow.
once I had this built, then he's like, "So I've joined the Devin Townsend band, and do you think we could rehearse there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, come on in. This is great." And that's when I was just starting the Mighty One. And so
Oh
yeah,
wow.
it was an amazing thing. I got, Devin produced the first single. He mixed the whole record. The Devin Townsend band was basically stepped in and did a lot of the heavy lifting of the recording of the record. And I was super blessed. They even showed up in the video. The first video
Huh.
is the drummer is my friend Ryan Van Poederoyen from. He's now got a band called I Monolith. But he
Yes,
was
I've heard of them.
yeah, and so he was the drummer at the time in the Devin Townsend Project. It was called Devin
Yeah.
Townsend Project, and then the Young brothers, Mike and Dave Young, and yeah, it was really 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 cool to have that and to have Devin produce the first single, which is probably our biggest selling single so far for the Mighty, because it really got into the top levels of the university and college market in North America. We were in the top 10, and
Wow.
then the video was at Much Music, and so a lot of, and got Mike Fraser to do a mix of it. Like all these amazing
Wow.
things happened out of that relationship.
Well, that's definitely, and that's the nice thing about the music business as they go, or the industry. But like the rock and metal community is really like a big family. We're just spread out all over the globe. It's just we're just because when you go to a metal concert, everybody's just so happy and you know.
It's the greatest. It really is. Heavy metal and hard rock is definitely the closest knit family and
Yeah.
community that I've seen out of any kind of music. It truly is. And yeah, it comes across as hard and heavy, but the inside of it is actually pretty soft and
Just big
awesome.
teddy bears. Yeah.
Totally, totally.
When I first went to the rickshaw and saw a show there, I was outside during in between breaks, and I asked some of the bouncers. I said, "You guys ever have any problems at the shows?" He goes, "Not when it's rock or heavy metal." He goes, "If it's hip hop or rap or ska or any other form of music, we have issues. But when it's metal, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And they all get along, and there's
All
this
get
this
along." Yep.
brother this brother sister thing that goes on that's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And the rickshaw. Speaking of the rickshaw,
yeah,
we'll just segue right into it.
yeah. I love it. Beautiful.
The 26th of this month at 6 p.m. You're doing a show live,
Yeah.
streaming live from the rickshaw,
Right.
mariachi and rock. You want to elaborate on that a bit?
Sure, sure. Yeah, this is mariachi and rock. Yeah, that's on Saturday at 6 p.m. from the rickshaw. This is a really kind of a cool thing because in 2017, the Mighty One had the opportunity through our friend Manuel Avila, um, who is also producing this particular show. He's someone I work with in the concert business here in Vancouver at Rogers Arena, but he is basically the tour manager, the North American tour manager for a band called El Tree. And El Tree is a band from Mexico that is basically the Rolling Stones of Latin America. They
Oh, okay.
truly are. They truly are the Rolling Stones of Latin America. You ask anybody, whether it's Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, El Salvador, it doesn't matter. Any of those Latin American countries, you ask them who the top rock band is, they will always say El Tree. These guys have been playing together for over 50 years.
Wow. They really are the Stones.
They truly are the Stones, and their lead singer, um, he is like a Mick Jagger type of character. He
Oh,
truly
really?
he truly is. And we had a chance to play with them in 2017. Again, it was a mariachi and rock experience, so we got to open for them.
Oh,
and start
nice.
that relationship. And that was a real super huge honor. And now once again, Alex Laura, the main singer, is actually going to be hosting this event. I think he's going to be performing live from Mexico probably, and and so once again, it's this coming together of this mariachi and rock thing. So it's like a very very fiesta type cultural event.
Awesome. So you guys headlining the show, or are
Yes,
they?
we're headlining the show. Yep,
Nice.
absolutely. And well, I have to say, Alex Laura is, he's a little more famous
He's pulling
than
a bit more
you
weight, yeah.
he's going to be pulling in more people than the Mighty One is. But yeah, we're as far as the rickshaw itself, yes, we're headlining.
How's it going? It's going to feel good to be back on stage, even though there's not going to be a crowd there, right? Just
No,
probably just Mo's going to be there and a few of his staff.
that's correct. Yeah, he's got some camera guys and the sound guys, and yeah, everything is as it is except without an audience. It's Mo's one of those. He's been one of these amazing people who keeps supporting the industry in a huge way, because there's been a number of really great live streams from there,
Yeah,
and
they did
it is
Unleash.
the ultimate rock venue for Vancouver, I swear.
Oh, oh yeah, like you can go to the Commodore, but ever since it got sold, it's not been the same. They fixed the floor or something. I don't know. The mood's just off in that place now.
Mm,
It doesn't have the same mood that it did before. But
right.
rickshaw, it's always alive.
It's always alive, and it's got that really, that gritty. You go to the back alley of the rickshaw, and you go, yeah, this is rock and roll. It smells like pee, and there's
Yeah,
people everywhere, and it's just like, okay, here we go. This is rock and roll.
yeah. I remember when Battlecross came to, they were playing the rickshaw with Lord Dying, and I interviewed the lead singer, Gunther, of Battlecross. He says when he got off the bus in the back alley, he said he looked and he goes, I didn't just think I saw somebody shoot up. He goes, I fucking saw somebody shoot up right there in the alley. He goes, it's unreal.
Happening the whole time. Happening the whole
I
time.
know. Go, dude, if you only knew.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. That's ground level, gritty rock and roll. That place. It truly
Yeah.
is.
But such so hospitable. Like, Mo and his crew, they just welcome everybody. They're just
Absolutely. Yeah, and
yeah, like you say, he's been hosting a lot of these events. I know he did one with Unleash the Archers, and he did one with quite a number of different bands over the past couple months. Even though he's struggling as a business owner to keep his venue alive, but the ticket sales were 50% to the band, 50% to the venue.
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Just
no, he's a huge supporter of independent, not only heavy metal music, but independent music in Vancouver.
Yes.
I'd have to say that Mo sticks out as the number one. And so to see him succeed through all of this, or at least survive through all of this, is amazing. I don't know if you saw recently, there was on CBC just prior to the Junos, there was a bit of a documentary on venues across Canada. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. It's amazing, and the rickshaw was featured, which I was so happy about.
Yeah, Mo shared a clip of it, I think, or he shared the whole thing. I did see some of that. Yeah.
Oh, great, great.
Yeah.
It was good to see him. Just again, the back alley kind of hits you, and I hadn't been there for over a year, and it's like, boom, whoa, we're back. And then it's like, we're really back, and Robert, who does the production there, Robert Barrington III, he was there, and it's just like, wow. And then stepping on this, it's so great to know that this is happening.
Yeah, and like you say, he survived, but how well has he survived? Like, because we've lost like the Railway Club and the Vogue's gone now. And there's a lot of places in Vancouver that just COVID just did them in.
And there's definitely a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very sad about that. There's no doubt about it. It's the entertainment industry, because that's what I'm also involved in. Besides being a songwriter and musician and a performer, I work in that industry, and I've just watched like this desert that it's been for the last year and a half or so, and it's just like, it's tough. It's really tough. And again, I want to shout out to all my technical and stagehand friends in the business who, like Mo, they have been in survival mode, just barely hanging on. And not everybody's going to make it. Not everybody has made it.
No, and unfortunately and it's almost like a big tidal wave, because it's just hit it's just been like a big rolling tidal wave.
all the way down to all of the rental houses and all of those things, the production companies. There's been so many that have folded.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's but what's amazing, Anthony, is that I have this firm belief that, just like in the in the days of the Black Plague, medieval times, and then we had the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Just like those times, like in the medieval times afterwards, we had the Renaissance, which was this huge influx of entertainment, of art, of literature, of architecture, and all of these things. And then after the Spanish flu, we had the Roaring '20s, right? Yeah. So I believe we're also in a zone where we're going to come. There's a renaissance. This is really the third big renaissance is coming too. And I believe that rock and roll is. I'm part of the rock and roll renaissance, and I'm happy to be there.
I like your positive thinking of that, and I'm thinking the same sort of thing, because everybody's been locked away for so long. Yeah. People are going to want to be back out, because everybody's been locked away for so long. They're going to want to go to shows again. They're going to want to go to movies. They're going to want to go see a play or whatever, And I think it's going to benefit the arts in the long run, because people are looking for that outreach. They want something live. They want something screaming in their face.
Well, and I think that it has a higher value now that it's been gone and taken away. Now it has a higher value again.
Exactly.
And that's a great thing for creators like myself.
Well, yeah, because also with shows coming back, the borders aren't going to be open till like about this time next month for American bands to come. So with the venues starting to open up a bit more and having shows, maybe not so much with participation with the audience, but who knows? Maybe that'll help support more local talent too, because that's one of the things that Vancouver's predominantly known for, is not supporting local music.
Yes, and so that thing is happening in all of the music centers around the world. For instance, I've got a lot of friends in Australia, and Australia has locked themselves off from the world for quite some time, and still are to a certain degree. And so the local music scene, it has been really exploding, and all of their big festivals that they do are filled with local talent. So all these people who wouldn't typically get a chance to play some of these bigger stages and these bigger events are now doing that, because they're there and others can't come in yet. Exactly. So I think the same thing is going to happen here. It's going to take a while for us to get to full capacity. And until that time, local talent is going to fill that void that is there.
I hope so, because there's some great talent out in all across the Lower Mainland that people are.
You're wearing a shirt of some folks that I know right there.
Desert Mark, yeah. I was covering a band, the Astoria, from Mexico.
Yeah.
And I walked in the door and I was talking to Alberto, from I I forget his production company.
I,
Invisible Orange.
that's
Invisible
right.
Orange.
That's
I was
right.
talking to him. And then James, who's the manager of Desert Merc, he was folding up shirts and stuff. And he says, "Oh, we just started to talk." And he says, "What are you here for?" And I said, "Oh, I'm here to interview the band from Mexico. Lost Nebula, I believe they're called." And he says, "Oh," he says, "Are you open to do any other interviews?" I'm like, "What do you got in mind?" He goes, "Well, there's a band here from Australia called Defaced, and their manager's looking for some press." And he goes, "And I manage a local band called Desert Merc. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Sure, I'm game." He goes, "Well, I'd really appreciate it." And he goes, "I can give you a T-shirt for your trouble." So that's how I got the shirt. And I thought, because you're a local boy, you probably know who these guys are.
I sure do. I sure do. I sure do. I know a couple of guys in the band, for sure. And actually, the bass player in that band,
Chris.
Chris Campbell,
Yeah.
was actually bass player for many years in the Mighty One.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chris didn't mention that.
go check out a video that we have online on our YouTube page called Countdown to Ascension. Chris is front and center. He's such a rock star.
Oh, yeah. Guy, they blew up the stage, man. Him and Paul with his vocals and Tony on guitar and Scott on the drums. Yeah, these guys are killer. I was just like, yeah, like they were the best part of the night, actually.
Yeah, those guys are an amazing band. Amazing.
They are.
Yeah.
I figured, well, I'll wear something local because Tim probably knows at least one of the guys or some of the guys. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to send me your address, and I got to send you a T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to do that. Or maybe because you're close by enough, I might just come and drop it by in person.
Really? Yeah, I'm in Maple Ridge.
I know. You're only 20 minutes away from me.
Wow, that'd be an honor. Well, we'll have to get a selfie and go, "Hey."
Absolutely, we'll do that. Of course. Yeah. And I could bring you a fresh CD because you probably still have a CD player.
Yeah, right here in my in my computer. I don't have a old school CD player, but yeah. I love CDs. I love the physical media. You know.
Yeah, no
physical
kidding.
media is. I have a whole shelf of movies and a whole drawer full of CDs, and yeah, I love it.
There's nothing like having that actual thing in your hand, is it?
Well, no, we're old school. I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to be 55 next month.
Yep.
Sorry?
We're in the same zone. Yep.
Okay. But you know, when you bought that album and you open it up and you got the sleeve and you got all the pictures and everything, and the CDs have that too. And I miss that because I get so many records sent to me, but they're sent to me digitally. And it's just not the same, you know.
It's not. You can't have that same personal connection. I agree.
No.
That's why vinyl's very valuable again.
Yeah. Well, it's made such a big comeback too, right?
Yeah. But it's because of that. It's because of that physical piece, you know, for sure.
Yeah. You had getting away from music and everything, but I wanted to kind of touch on this because you had a post on Father's Day about what it was on your personal page. You had a video what it was like for you to be a father. And I just want to give a shout out, like right now, while we're talking, that I just thought that was just it was just a wonderful thing because I'm a dad too. I'm a dad of two sons, 18 and 22, and you do make mistakes, and that's just a part of being a person. You know, that's part of, and accepting the fact that nobody's perfect. Yeah. And I just thought it was just such a cool post, and I wanted to give you a shout out for that and say, thanks. Right on.
Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a firm believer that the greatest lessons, the real lessons in life, come from our mistakes.
Yep, they do.
And so, but many people don't want to admit that they make those mistakes.
That's the key right there. That's the key right there. So you got to admit your mistake before you can learn from your mistake.
Absolutely, and take full responsibility for it, right? So,
Yeah.
but thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, that was totally from the heart. And I honestly, Anthony, I try to everything that I do in life, I really try to do it from the heart. I really do.
Well, and I think that comes across in your music. Because even if we get back to the song, The Torture Rock and Roll,
Mm-hmm.
it talks about your whole history. When you first thought that you were part of the KISS Army, then you got Destroyer, and that really fueled you. But then I read something, not in your bio, but it was that interview that you posted yesterday, the magazine interview.
Oh, yes, yeah.
At a young age, you were kind of discouraged from playing guitar because of your upbringing, and you brought the extension cord way out to the barn, played with the chickens.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, if you look at the Torture Rock and Roll song and you watch the video, I don't know if you've seen the animated video.
Yeah,
but
I have a few times. I love it.
It's an autobiography. I mean, this is not made. This is not made up. This is actually my life, and I still live that every day. This Torture Rock and Roll that was lit when I got that first KISS record and first plugged that guitar in, in the silo, in the grain silo. That's what still fuels me today to do what I do.
Right. Yeah. But how do you? Okay, so let's say somebody else is in the same situation. By chance, they happen to be watching this, where they're discouraged from doing what they want to do. Where did you find it in you to continue, even though you were told you shouldn't, because it's not within, because it wasn't suitable for the church setting. Is that what it was?
Well, I mean, I come from a religious family. I grew up in northern British Columbia, where it was a Mennonite community, so it was very Old Testament, fire and brimstone, and and
yeah.
God, and and all of this whole thing. And I decided at a pretty young age, I went, something doesn't sit right with me on this whole thing.
Right.
And then I discovered rock and roll, and then I'm like, and I like this, I like this a lot more than I like that. And if you don't like it, like there's my parents and the community, if you don't like it, it doesn't matter to me, because I know my truth. I know what my purpose is, and I'm going to go for that. And I've done that my whole life. I left home at very early, and just shortly after graduation was on the road already. Came to Vancouver and was on the road, and I mean, who gets a massive record deal with Paul Stanley at the age of 24? It doesn't happen,
No.
So
that's something that somebody dreams about.
Exactly. I just made the dream come true because I stuck to my purpose.
But you could have always put on a Straper album for them, because
Yeah, but that's the way I am. I can't. I mean, I can be an actor, but my truth has always superseded anything that I can act.
Well, and you got to be true to yourself.
I'm a firm believer in that. So I was just telling you earlier that I teach personal development at Nimbus School of Recording.
Right.
And, I think probably the biggest lesson that I try to get across to people, or to the kids there, which there's so many talented producers and artists coming up, it's crazy. The main thing that I always go to them is, know what your purpose is and stand behind it 100%. Even if it doesn't make any logical sense, if you got that voice inside that is telling you to do what you do it. Follow it through. You will never go wrong. You will never go wrong. Will things be tough? Yeah, maybe. But if you take the safe way, you're going to end up in life, at our age, and you're going to go like, oh man, here I am. I've created this amazing business. I got this amazing house and this amazing family, and I feel worthless. I feel empty. I feel, like I never followed my dreams. Honestly, Anthony, I can tell you, I never feel that way because I've always stuck to it, even when it wasn't popular, even when it was causing me problems. And, even when grunge came along and took this thing away, I still kept on. I still kept on.
Well,
And I have no regrets.
Yeah, you reformed yourself, and here you are today. And it's just, you were able to regroup, as if you will, and and you put your best foot forward, and here you are. You're doing a show on Saturday at the rickshaw.
Exactly. How many people can say that with
Right?
with the Rolling Stones of Latin America and a mariachi band?
Well, 50 years is nothing to, nothing to be to what am I trying to say here? They're no slouches. 50 years, that's a long time for anybody. I mean, that's equivalent to the Stones, that's
They truly are that. And you know what's amazing about that band, and especially their lead singer Alex Laura, so down to earth, so down to earth. He actually,
yeah,
I've got one of his guitars. He gave me one of his guitars. It's downstairs, signed
real.
by. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He sat backstage the whole time, like right beside the drums, and checked out our whole set. He was just extremely humble, and I think that's what a true rock star is. One that's not overtaken by their ego, knows exactly what they're here to do, and also has the humbleness to connect with artists that are not necessarily at their level,
yeah.
but they see that equal bond. They see that equal bond, and they also acknowledge it. And that's why I've got that guitar.
Well, that's a cool thing. That's something. That's another thing people can't take away from you. They can't take away the history you've got with Paul Stanley. They can't take away the history that you have with this band. Your success as a band now.
Yeah, it's been a pretty amazing ride. The Torch of Rock and Roll ride, I call it, has been pretty amazing because, it started pre-COVID. We were in pre-production for the record, but then I'm like, this thing needs. This is a legacy record, okay? Torch of Rock and Roll is a legacy record. That's why it's called Torch of Rock and Roll. That's why I have this autobiography song on the record. And, I said, hey, we can't just do this record and put it out. We need to find somebody to partner with that's going to do something amazing. And I'd been talking to this company out of Germany called CMM Marketing, and they have a portion of their operations which is called SAOL, and it's Service for Artist-Owned Labels.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so it's basically a record company, but you hold on to you. I'm still the record company, but they're a partner, really kind of almost like a publicity and promotions, but then what's the word I'm looking for? Like a project manager. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And these are the guys behind Iron Maiden.
Really?
So to be able to sign a deal with them to promote this record and get it out there for us was like again a huge confirmation that hey, we're onto something. Something really cool is going on here, and it needs worldwide attention at a higher level, not just only a Facebook presence and a Instagram presence. It needs that higher level. And for this next record, which we've already got, that we're already working on, we've got even a higher level that we're looking for to make sure that this message gets out to the world.
So share a little bit more, elaborate on the that you're working for.
I can't really elaborate on the details, but my intention is definitely to go on board with a major player in the music industry as we move to this renaissance of rock and roll. We'll get more of a major player than we even have now. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with the show on Saturday, this is a free thing, or is there a ticket price?
Yeah, no. So you have to go and reserve your tickets, but it is a free ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, and the website to go to is www.mariachirockvf.
Okay.
Okay, vf.ca.
I'll be sure to include it in the article, and I'll have the link below when I get this up and post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But how excited are you for getting back to actual live shows?
Oh, so excited. I mean, this is what I live for, I mean, yes, I live for creating music, and yes, I look forward to putting it out and all that stuff, but actually getting on stage and interacting, first of all, just with the band together on stage, that's one really amazing thing. But then putting it through a big PA and lots of amazing lights, another amazing thing. And the next piece that's coming is that interaction, that energetic exchange with the audience. And we're well on our way to making that happen with a potential tour right now of the UK and Ireland and Scotland in November. And then in the spring, we'll be heading to Europe, to some of the more of the Slavic countries. And of course, Latin America is blowing up for us right now. So I would anticipate that next year we'll be spending a lot of time there also.
But nothing local as of yet, except for the show on Saturday.
Nothing booked as of booked in local, because things are a little slow to open up.
Right.
But definitely it's our intention to play here. And I think what I really would like to do is open for some really great, influential acts from around the world. That's where the Mighty One, I think, could really support in a big way. And it would be good for us and good for the act that we're supporting.
Well, my buddies Twan and Stoney used to be a part of the band, but not anymore. Saints of Death. In 2012 they got to open for Moonspell and Septic Flesh at the Rickshaw.
I was there. I was at the show. I remember that. It was great. They did a great job.
I get to interview Christos from Septic Flesh, and I got to interview Mike Gaspier from Moonspell.
Yeah.
But Mike's left the band now, and he's created his own. He's got a different band now.
Oh, okay.
He's no longer with Moonspell. But Mo actually let me use their green room upstairs for the interviews. So
that's amazing.
I just asked him straight up. I just said, "Is there somewhere quiet I can go interview these guys?" And he's like, "I'll show you, just upstairs."
Mo is amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
He really is. He just, as soon as the first time I met him, he just like, it was like just talking to an old friend.
Totally.
It's like talking to you right now. Like, I just feel like we've known each other for a long time. We just haven't connected yet.
It's that hard rock, heavy metal brotherhood, my friend. Absolutely.
I think so, because I've been doing my website for 10 years now, and anybody I've talked to in the metal community, whether it be like a big rock star or, just a guy down the street who lives in Coquitlam.
Yeah,
he's just down to earth, just very humble and easy to get along with, and yeah.
Beautiful.
So, is there anything else you'd like to add to this?
I don't know. I guess I'd if I was to add anything, I would say if you haven't checked out the Torch of Rock and Roll album, I would definitely go on the digital platforms and check that out. I would definitely go to YouTube, and I would check out at least the Torch of Rock and Roll, because it does tell a pretty inspired story, and it's a really cool video because it's an animated video, sort of anime style. Yeah. And one of the beautiful things through COVID was that one of my local friends here, he does animation, a really good friend of mine, but he ended up going to Mexico during COVID because his father passed of COVID.
Oh,
And he put together a team of 20 animators who worked on this project for over 6 months. Like
wow.
it's all hand drawn. It's there's just so much love that has gone into this video. So and I wanted that because of course it's a very legacy, story to me. It's my
Yeah,
story, right? So
exactly.
uh, it was appropriate that it had that attention. So that's what I would ask is that you go check that out, and then connect with me. I'm open to always connecting with everybody on Facebook. Of course, the Mighty One is there on Mighty One Music on Facebook, Mighty One Music on Instagram. All those things are there, but I'm really about personal connection. That's really what I want to do. So, and I'm open to that. So reach out to me if you're watching this and you're inspired to do so. I answer all my mail, and I want to connect with people. And I just really appreciate you, Anthony, for putting together this interview and for what you do to bring all of these artists, to the forefront and to people's awarenesses. It's a really amazing thing that you do, and I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you too. And when I gave a shout out, I think it was like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, uh, I was about reviewing the album, and then my friend Ian chimed in. He says, "Hey, how can I get a copy of the album?" And then you're like, "Hey, I got you, buddy."
Yeah, Ian Gregerson, amazing man. Yeah, we had a really great time together also. And yeah, thank you so much for reaching out and for making this happen. I'm super grateful.
Not a problem. I look forward to seeing the show on Saturday, seeing you guys rock the house.
Fantastic. We look forward to playing for you.
Awesome, man.
All right. And as I always say, feel the fire, keep it burning, torture rock and roll.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. Nice
Okay.
to chat with you, man.
All right. See you, Anthony.
Take care.